much better now than I did before because I always say it like this, and I know people are like, man, what's he talking about? But I'm a cool guy. I'm a cool guy in a sense that I handle life in a cool way. I allow things to roll off my back. Typically, I get along with a lot of people. That's my superpower is relationships. And the way people typically think about me is that he's a cool guy. I don't mean cool like, throwing your shades and you're so cool. I don't mean like that. I mean like as in a cool, calm, and collected, right? And that's how I operate.
It's beauty in the struggle, ugliness in the success. Hear my words and listen to my signal of distress. The good news is, you came a long way. The bad news is, you went the wrong way.
Guaranteed official. That's what you because of what you're doing for the body.
I will start by saying this, Mark.
Welcome to another CTA Podcast. This is the sound of kings and queens. Villmatic back at you again with another incredible special guest. This is my homie. This is like little bro. I don't even know how we connected, but ever since I've been following him, watching him, keeping up with him. And I'm going to introduce y'all to somebody who's very, 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 like when I say he is a smart man. That's all I got. He's a very intelligent man, and I've been watching his growth, his development, his vision, and I'm gonna read his bio. I'm gonna say his name yet because when I get in here, I'm gonna let you know he's a graduate of A&T in 04 with a degree in architectural engineer at the University of North Carolina, Greensboro in 06 with the MBA. He's currently an owner operator of a Chick-fil-A franchise in Los Angeles, California, where he leads a multi-million-dollar franchise with his team of 80 team members alongside his wife, Dree. Prior to opening the restaurant in January 2020, Craig Stokes, said his name, was creator and host of 2 web series, Style Minute. I used to love Style Minute, too. I got sharp for a couple outfits, whatever. Presents the show in London in America, a kid-friendly show hosted by his daughter, London. He recently produced and starred in the independent film Whirlpool, where he has been seen in national TV, commercials, hosting red carpets and entertainment news segments, and more. This man is originally from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and enjoys his wife, his daughter, London, and son, Camden. He's 19. He is a 19-year-old officer in the Air Force. I did not know that. Reserves. Spring 03, initiate of Beta Epsilon Chapter Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my homie, Craig Stokes. How you doing, good sir?
Mark, what's up, my guy? Good to see you. Thank you for having me on the show. And shout out to the bio, man. I often forget some of the things that I've been able to do, and it's just a blessing. Hopefully, it's made an impact. Hopefully.
Man, hopefully you've made tremendous stride. Like, I mean, just going back, Style Minute was something I saw you did years ago. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to do that now. Just putting my face on YouTube. I was so scared to even expose myself. And you were doing that in a space. Honestly, you and Kevin Samuels were doing the same thing at the same time. That's when he used to be nice. Kevin Samuels.
Nice guy. Yeah, right. Yeah. Man, that was back in 08, right. Man. Can you believe it? 2008, the world was different in the sense of YouTube. I think had just come out 3 or 4 years earlier, man. It was pretty new.
Right.
And, to your point, man, just trying new things, just trying to get out there and show the world what I could do and hopefully pivot a little bit from the engineering and the MBA and say like, hey, I want to be a host. I can do this. But I knew I had to prove it. So I was like, I had to create a show so I could prove what I was capable of. Yeah.
Man, and you did that. You did it with style. You did it with grace. You did it with class. You did it with intelligence behind it. I mean, there was always about being a sharp individual. When you show up to an interview, I was like, he's right. I went and got those same suits. I got my suit patterns. Y'all don't understand. There's always, and it helped me with interviews because it gave me confidence. So now I was like, I got a red suit and I should wear it. No, I don't need to look like no pimp going to no interview. Those things help. Yeah, different type of jobs. But man, your resume is incredible. Just from what I'm not even going to sugar. We talk about Style Minute and you being on TV. That's huge. But my man, you are owner, operator, CEO of a Chick-fil-A, like the best chicken in the South. Like, Commercial chicken,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
is
Yeah, no, man,
delicious.
isn't that crazy, yo? I mean, coming from the Ville, coming from North Carolina, coming from a place where I honestly didn't see people that looked like us doing these types of things. So it was, people
Right.
often say, like, where'd you get that vision from? Where'd you get that motivation from?
Mm-hmm.
And I just always believed it was possible, but I just still didn't know. It wasn't like I believed it because, yeah, my guy Mark, he has a Chick-fil-A, so I can do that too. So I'm thankful
Right.
that hopefully people can look at me and say, well, if Craig can do it, then I can do it. And, I can be that change that we just didn't see when we were coming up.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And just to go back, like this series of podcasts, you are from Fayetteville. I'm
Yep.
showcasing lots of familiar faces that people that, they went from Fayetteville, from East Smith,
Mhm.
they're going to be like, man, that's great. Right.
Yeah,
But
man.
we're also
Yeah.
showcasing the mind, the vision, the outcomes of just applying different, from different pressure, different backgrounds and everything and where you got that from. So my first question I always like to ask is like, who inspired you? Who made Craig Stokes who he is? Who was the beginning foundation of how you became who you are today?
Yeah, I would say primarily my mom, but definitely my dad as
Mm-hmm.
well. And I'll tell you specific things. So coming up, my mom pretty much raised us, single mom. So from age 5 till she got remarried, I was the man of the house, right? Like I really felt a
Mm-hmm.
responsibility to take care of mom and make sure the doors were locked and making sure that she was happy and, that she felt like she had company, whether it was, I'll just sit up here and watch TV with you, mom. I'll take care of you. And so I felt this kind of paternal type of relationship, and I did that really early on. And so maybe that helped me mature and see the world a little different. How can I help? How can I serve? How can I be more? You know what I mean? I know I'm a little kid, but how can I be more? And so
Mm-hmm.
when I was 13 years old, my mom and my stepfather had a children's birthday party business. My mom was always creative, always painting faces and painting visors and selling things, and so she really was the entrepreneur. And so from age 13 to 16, we used to have a children's birthday party business, and I would dress up as a red Power Ranger to do kicks and punches and eat cake and ice cream with kids. Man, like I literally was, I was really that guy, right? So we would charge $100 an hour. I would come out there and do birthday parties for an 8-year-old. I'm 13, but they're 8. And yet here again, I'm
Right.
saying, how can I step up? How can I serve? How can I make somebody's day better? And how can I give them
Mm.
a once in a lifetime experience? And so my mom really planted the seed of being creative. You can take an idea and you can
Mm.
bring it to life. You can like try this thing, try that thing. And she
Wow.
said, Craig, don't put all your eggs on one basket. Like you have a lot of talents, a lot of gifts. The world is so big. Go try new things. And when my dad came in, really it was, he put the books in my hand to have me read at an early age, really, 7 Habits of Highly Effective,
Mm-hmm.
like all these different things like that. And I remember the story is I was at a Golden Corral. We were sitting down. I was probably 11, 12 years old. I look over at the buffet. I see this girl that looked cute to me, right? And I'm like, Dad, she looks cute. I think I like her. He says, if you see something you want, go get it. And he was talking specifically about that situation, but I've used that to apply that to other areas of my life. If I see
Mm-hmm.
something that I want, if I see something I believe is possible, then go get it. So don't put all your eggs in one basket, Craig. Try new things. That's the vision. Explore the world, see what you like, what you don't like. And if you do like it
Mm-hmm.
and you do want it, my dad says, go get it. And so those two things
Right.
I would say is where that vision and that hunger came from.
Bro. Shout out to good parents, man. That's all
Yeah,
I
man.
gotta say. Shout out to good
Yeah.
parents. No matter what the dynamics are, the differences are. I
Right.
mean, single parent, divorce, whether they're together for years, it's just I've noticed this trend so far. Just on even in this series, we've had different family backgrounds, but it was what nuggets did you pull away that helped you, that guided you in life? And I mean,
Yeah.
if you see something, go get it. That's clear, right? That's
Yeah, man. That's straight to the point. He didn't say nothing else. He didn't
that's
say
straight
nothing
to
else. He didn't say, did you go get it? He didn't say, he didn't ask me no follow-up questions. It was just like,
right,
you see something you
right.
want, go get it. I'm like, okay.
Right. Those what they call them, the unk colloquialisms now. That's a part of the unk vocabulary now.
Yeah. It's unk status.
Yeah. So man, this like our parents really built a lot of, and we talk about the foundation that was laid, the layers of that foundation on that. So,
Yeah.
you're growing through high school, you're going through Fayetteville, what was your childhood into E.E. Smith? We bring that up because E.E. Smith was just an incredible place for some
100%.
incredible people. We were lucky. Yeah. I say we're lucky because to be on that side of the earth, everybody in Fayetteville had their own experiences, but to come from E.E. Smith, like what was the impact of E.E. Smith to you and your foundation?
Oh man, huge, because I felt like I was at Smith for 4, 5, 6 years, meaning the depth of my relationships with people felt so genuine and so like I've known you forever. But the truth is I didn't get there until my junior year. So I was only there for 2 years. So to have that type of impact and those lifelong relationships for only 2 years, because I came from Douglas Byrd at first. So I was at Byrd Middle.
Bless your heart. I'm glad you came.
Bless your heart. That's the grandma colloquialism. That's like the bless your heart, baby. Oh man, and welcome to the home to the Golden Bulls, man. Like so, no, it was from day one walking into the calf. People just showing me love, and I don't mean like on some celebrity love, but I mean talking about like grab a seat. I know you're new. Grab a seat. How you doing? Where you coming from? Nice to meet you. Just like really, this is a family. I felt at home immediately, and then of course. You fast forward 20 years and we think about the people who came through T who are doing major things on a national level. It's like, but we all were on that side of the Murchison Road, for those who don't know. And then we were all on that side of town where it probably didn't seem like there was going to be a whole lot of amazing things to come from there. But when you have each other, when you take care of that foundation and you have solid relationships, and when you have a culture of E.E. Smith that's much like A&T, it's much like a HBCU.
Right.
As you can attest to, it's like that's a family, man, and that you're gonna have your struggles, you're gonna have your back and forths, ups and downs, but when you have a family, then that's always your heart. That's always something that you can come back to as a solid foundation, and I found that to be true, having only been there for 2 years in high school. So I love it. Yeah, shout out to Seabrook Road, man. So
1800, man. That's beautiful, man. Just to hear it, it's just it makes me feel. It brings back the pride I think that we have of being a Golden Bull. I don't try to gloat over anybody and showcase it. It was like we really had something magical going on at that school. It's still there. I just left there maybe almost 3 weeks ago to the Battle of the Bands. And I'm just sitting there telling my daughter, like, hey, watch this. Watch the band. You hear that? That's us. That's easy. So who? Just watch them come out. Like, I'm just showcasing her all this stuff. I took her to the monument. I walked her on the field and said, look, your daddy played here. This is where, just so she could feel it and understand. She's just like, I don't know. I'm going to take a picture real quick. But the nostalgic, right. I mean, we had so many great leaders, teachers, faculty members, staff, the janitors, everybody played a part into even loyal fans that were just always there at every game.
In the community, because it's built in the community for those who don't know the area.
Right. And then, we used to laugh at people that were like, well, I'm scared to go to E. Smith. That's the Merc. We were like, what you scared about? Like, we're cool over here. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know why you scared. Like, I never felt that way. I felt, that was all love. I'm glad you asked that question too. That made me smile. That's dope.
Yeah, man. So just this title, this podcast for you, I was looking at your life and I said, man, the title is Positioning for Success in Life. And I say that because I watch you play your life almost like chess. I'm pretty sure you've had some ups and downs. I'm pretty sure you've had some trials, tribulations, all types of things that may not have gone your way. But you definitely were strategic. That's why I say you're a very educated, smart, intelligent man. I watch you be strategic on how you move, and nothing was televised. You just literally moved your pieces. I'm seeing you on TV. I'm seeing you on YouTube. I'm seeing your daughter. You're investing in your daughter and showing her the ropes in business. And next you know, bam, Chick-fil-A. But you have an engineering degree, right? Like you've got something to fall back on if all else fails. Man, so... Man, how would you define success for you?
Yeah, it's such a big question, right? And it's a big existential question, meaning success, because it's hard to define it for other people. So for myself, what it looks like is, Mark, have you ever been hungry, man, and you go into a grocery store and you're like, I'm not going to buy that. I'm not going to buy that. I'm just going to buy what I came in here for, man. I'm just going to stay focused. Or you went into Target. So I got that one item, right?
Right.
And my goal is to get that one item and get up out of here because I got to get to my next stop, whatever. To me, that would be success. If you went in there and you accomplished that thing, you went in there, you got the one item, you let that little sale rack catch your attention, you kind of kept the blinders on and you got back to your car. You know what I mean? To me, success has looked like I had an idea, man. I wanted to bring it to life. I brought it to life. Maybe there's another part of it that says, okay, the next level of success might be I made money from it. Okay. The next level of success, a lot of people liked it. Okay, cool. But it was never, success has never been a one thing type thing. I've tried my best to say that every moment is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Every moment, not the big moment is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Not the success at the end of the road is a once in a lifetime. It's like today, me talking to you, answering this one question that you just asked is a once in a lifetime opportunity because 5 minutes from now, we're going to be talking about something else. And this moment will have come and gone. And so success will be being present in this moment, maximizing this time together. It's just really about the journey for me. And it's not about it's really not about some big magical destination. So I don't think I'll ever retire for that point. Like I don't think I'll ever reach the end of the road. I'll just make work optional. I don't have to work, but you know what I mean? Like and that would be success. If I can get to a place where work is optional, I don't have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So hopefully that answers it. But yeah, it's just a series of things. It's really not one big destination for me.
I agree. I think it's, we're taught about, the American dream and what that looks like today. It does not exist. We talk about the American dream. It was given to us. It was displayed to us. Parents taught us, go out here and get a good job, get a good education, or get a good education, get a good job and do that. That's changed. That's no longer, I don't think it's acceptable. I don't even want it because I don't feel happy. I don't feel all the way free. I do have a backup plan in case I do need money, but I do understand when I don't have to think about a paycheck, that's a piece of freedom. When I don't have to worry about getting up every morning and having to struggle to figure out my next day or how's the food going to get on the table and where is the next meal going to come from. And then I think we're in a space now we can dream more. We do. And I think we're definitely great products of our ancestors. Right. And I'm very appreciative to do that. But then you have people who are still stuck in those spaces too. It's like, how do we get them to think about it? Maybe it's not our journey too. Maybe it might not be my job, but I know for me, I can't live that way. I can't always think corporate. I'm not going to think, let me sit in this corner and grind until I'm 60 something years old, because exactly what you were talking about and fulfilling and creating that fulfillment. I want to live wide. I don't care about, I want to do everything I can do now. If I die at 65 years old, you were like, Mark did a lot of stuff.
A lot.
More than a 90-year-old. I don't want to get 90 and I did nothing. So continue to live a wild life, continue to enjoy life, to continue to have fulfillment, to continue to have what I would now say success stories that I can add to that, to share with my family, that creates the legacies, that builds on the legacy, that builds on foundational support. This is the way I've been taught and raised and thought. So I guess one question for you, I would think about that. I know you've probably thought about this and you're seeing this with maybe some of your employees is now then, how do we, what do we do as a people to try to get the mindset to shift and think about those things? College education, it's still necessary, but it's almost fading out. So what is the new way? What should we be telling our young folk?
Man, I mean, one thing I think is before we tell, we got to ask and we have to listen. And I think a lot of times we come from the generation where our parents talk to us, talk, and they talk at us, and they miss getting to know us. They miss getting to see what we actually like. They miss encouraging us to not put all our eggs in one basket and to try this. See if you like that. Go do that basket weaving class. You may love it and then end up starting a business or having some like epiphany, like, why do I like this so much? I want more, I want more of it. Or you'll say, I don't want to ever do that class again. I don't, that's not me. Cool. And so I think just as parents and just people, we have to ask questions and listen more. And then from there, ask maybe two questions. One is, do you have, can I share what I would do maybe if I was you, or can I offer some suggestion and just invite them to take ownership of and give it and allowing them to give you permission to pour into their life. Because then their guard is going to be down. They'll be more receptive to it, especially if they're insecure or nervous about maybe not having a plan for their life. Because sometimes they're nervous and they don't want to say the wrong thing, and they feel like they're supposed to have it all figured out. And it's
Right.
just, life evolves at a different pace for different people. Now, let's say somebody says, Craig, go ahead and talk to me. Tell me everything you could tell me to help me get straight. I would say try as many things as possible. Take those continuing education classes at a community college. I saw what I did. I paid $60, learned how to do Adobe Illustrator and design my own clothes. I went and learned how to design websites. So that's how I was able to start designing websites for myself and my businesses. I wanted to learn how to make music or how to do oil painting. So that way, if I have a house and I want to put an oil painting up on the wall, I could do it myself. Like how do I make myself self-sufficient? How do I check boxes and learn things that I want to learn? And my next thing is I'm gonna get my pilot's license. So I'm still in that mindset of like, what's next? I want to try new things. I'm gonna be up in the sky eventually, Tuskegee Airman style. You know what I mean? So, but try new things. Try new things is the same concept of going to a store, trying on outfits. Try it on. If you like it, buy it. If you don't like it, put it back on the rack. If you thought you were a medium, but really the large fits better, now you know your size, you know what fits your life, you know what, your style is, and then you could shop more efficiently that way, right? And so a lot of times people, they watch from afar. They say, Mark looks like he has it all together. I'm gonna do what Mark does. Versus trying to do it themselves and make sure that it's really their dream. They don't really know what their dream is. I think they watch so much. We look at social media so much. They get inspired so much by that. They assume that they should do that thing as opposed to trying it on, seeing if it fits, seeing if you like it, seeing if it's meant for you. And then hopefully that will help direct your path as far as where you should go next in life.
That's good. I'm going to tell you something that just hit my brain. After listening to you say try new things, I preach mentorship and sponsorship a lot. But the one thing that hit, I got this divine download, which is be your own mentor sometimes. So when you talked about, trying new things and going out there and figuring things out, sometimes you need to be, that voice inside your head needs to say, hey, you know what? Do this. Try it. Let's figure it out. Let's work this out. I don't like it. Take notes on it. Connect with the people, help you understand what makes sense about it. And I think that's an important piece because we don't think of it like that. We think we need somebody to tell us. We need somebody to push us. Sometimes you got to push yourself. So sometimes you do have to be your own mentor in these spaces.
You do. And I heard something, it was kind of framed in other words. I've heard this thing recently where it's called a soundtrack. We know what soundtracks are to movies. We know what soundtracks are, right? Like when we listen to it, it really helps guide the action and the scene, and it really makes the movie or the TV show pop. It makes it more memorable. We have soundtracks in our minds that play in certain situations. It might, when you get ready to be faced with an opportunity to step on stage and speak in front of 5 people, 10 people, 100 people, there's a soundtrack that plays that either tells you can do it. It might tell you, you're not, you don't like this. You're going to mess up. They're going to laugh at you. It's something that plays in our mind that tells us something. There's something, right?
Right.
And so for the people that are watching this, listening to this, who find themselves often saying no to things and not trying new things, I would challenge them to say, what soundtrack plays in your mind whenever that opportunity presents yourself? Do you hear something in your mind, that mentor that you just talked about? Are you telling yourself you can't do this? And are you telling yourself you can't do it because you've actually failed before? Or are you telling yourself that because of some fear that has never actually happened?
Right.
What is that soundtrack, and how do you reframe it and create a new soundtrack to become your mentor, the best version of yourself, to where you actually put that foot in front of the other, in front of the other, in front of the other, and you actually end up where you kind of, dream that you could possibly be, but it only comes from telling yourself that you could do it, you know what I'm saying, and giving yourself the permission to step forward.
Man, beautiful stuff, because I hate the word fear, I really despise it on the fact that so many people live by it. So many people guide their life and decisions on fear, when it's like,
Right.
we weren't, we can go spiritual with it, but fear is nothing that was put into our lives. It's not in your DNA, so
No.
when you do that, you limit yourself. What they say, you miss the 100% of the shots that you don't take. That is exactly what that
Everything.
is, because,
Yep.
and I don't have to make this a man or female thing at all, but I think everybody has capability of talking themselves out of something that could have been gold. So try it. Just do it. Like you said, stop worrying about the outcome. Stop worrying about what people think and just go after. Like even me starting this podcast, I was so scared. Starting a podcast, I was scared to start a business. I was scared to jump in, but I noticed that if I took it, like you said, day by day, take it one step at a time, take it one day at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, and just get out here and do it. And who cares about what people say, how they think? I'm doing something that was given to me as a vision. Yeah. And going from there. Yeah.
What's the worst that's going to happen, man? What is the worst that could happen? And I never ran a restaurant or owned a restaurant until I owned a restaurant. We were never parents until we were parents. Like how old is your daughter? You say you have a daughter, right?
She's 8. She's 8. Yeah.
Mark, have you ever been a parent of a 13-year-old?
Nope.
Have you ever taught somebody to drive? So these are all things you have not yet done yet, but you just take it day by day. And so we forget that we actually do that in real life. But then when it comes to facing a fear, or like you say, saying yes to an opportunity, all of a sudden it's like, oh no, the world is going to fall apart if I stumble, if I make a mistake, or if it's not quite flawless or perfect. Just get out there and do it. I've made mistakes as a parent. I've made mistakes as a business owner. I've made mistakes as a student. You take the next test. You study harder on the next assignment. You just figure it out. When you play football, you ain't make no mistake out there. You ain't get chewed out
all the time.
You know what I'm saying? Come on.
All the time.
What'd you do? Like, all right, I'm gonna quit playing football because I come on now.
What's crazy is I say the same thing, and I don't want to go to a side note. This will be a whole nother podcast. I say the same thing about relationships. I was like, you try and fail relationships all the time, but when you want a business relationship, when you want to go do things with your personal life that's going to put money in your pocket or get a new job, you'll go build those relationships. But when it comes to finding a man or a woman, it's like, I don't know. It's all these parameters behind it. I'm scared. It's like, wow. Go if you want, like you said, if you want it, go get it. If you want it, go get it. And don't be afraid. Right. Yeah. I mean, and a lot of women won't do it, but it's like, try. Just talk to him. He probably liked you the whole time, but he ain't say nothing.
The whole time, man. The whole time. I've been there before. So we have to. Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast, man. We have to have a transformation academy for relationships. All right,
man. Let me dig deep into something. I want to ask more. So I want to jump into your success. You're doing this now. You're an owner of like a Chick-fil-A, like unheard of. I mean, how many black folks are owning Chick-fil-A's right now? I'm pretty sure you got the statistics.
I actually don't, man. But I would say there's over 3,000 locations. I would say we're probably 10%, maybe 300 or less, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
maybe
okay. Oh, wow. And you had to, my understanding is you have to go through you have to be an employee in order to become a franchise owner. You had to work there. Is that correct?
No, you don't actually. Yeah. So, all right. That's great. Yeah. That's a myth. That's definitely a myth. Yeah. Cause I never worked at Chick-fil-A before.
And I was sitting there thinking like,
before my only fast food job was
Okay. So my questions, I guess, just even thinking back around that is, I know Chick-fil-A has probably one of the best customer service like programs ever. And when it comes to quality of service, when it comes to that, and you've ingraded and basically putting your presence as a leader, what do you add to that already built foundation of incredibleness of Chick-fil-A? What have you probably added for your store in its own self?
Yeah. So I would say, let me dispel a couple myths for you all, because one, you don't have to be an employee of Chick-fil-A in order to own a Chick-fil-A. Obviously, the more you can prove that you know the business and that you know what you're getting into, that of course, that's helpful, right? Like they don't want somebody who doesn't understand what they're asking for.
Right.
to be a franchisee, because then you get in there and be like, oh, I got to make chicken. Yeah. Like, what do you think? Right, so they don't want no surprises. But what I will say is that another surprise that people might have is that there's really no playbook for the great experience and the customer service that we provide. There really isn't. We create our own training plans. Every location creates their own training process and plan and strategy.
Really?
There's a yes, yeah, absolutely. There's a framework. There's like a goal that Chick-fil-A has, right? There's a mission, but how we get that mission accomplished, they allow each franchisee to run their business the way that they see fit. So you can hire as many people as you want. You could create a training program that's robust, that's digital, that's on paper, that's laminate. I mean, however you want to do the program. Some people use Google Classroom. Some people use Trello, which is like a project management type software. A lot of people use paper, old things, other digital platforms. So it's like whatever you think works for you, your team, that's what you do. And so what I put on top of it is, one, I try to create great systems that can scale. So if you start with $5 million store and you want to be able to scale to a $15 million store, then you want to be able to have a training plan that will scale, right? And so also having the right leadership structure in place. How many trainers do I have in the front? How many trainers in the back? Who leads the trainers? How often did they meet? What did they train about? How do we know that they did the training in the first place? All of these things have to be put into place. What I created, though, is my own vision and my mission for my business. And so that training process has to help us meet that mission. And my mission is really simple. It's just to give the team members and the guests a better day. Our mission is to give the team members and the guests a better day. And we put the team members first. Strategically, I put the word team members first because, Mark, think about it like, man, if your cup was empty, how do you pour into a guest's cup if your cup is empty? As a team member, how do you give them something you don't have? If you're not having a better day, how do you give them a better day, right? And so being able to say, I'm here, I'm walking through this door, I'm speaking to everybody, I'm looking for ways to give somebody a better day. Oh, your hands are full, let me grab that door for you. Right? Oh, your table is dirty, let me clear that tray. Hey, looks like you want a refill on your beverage. I got you. It's like, oh, you're celebrating a birthday. Hey, happy birthday, little man. Let me get you a cookie. How do I give you a better day than when you came into the building? And so that's really what I put on it, is what is my mission? And then my vision is to be the number one Chick-fil-A in the Valley with a high performing leadership team and a culture of care for all. So it's like, we have to hire the best people who help us develop that high performing leadership team, and then ultimately care for everybody, from our team members to our guests to our community. How do we make sure people feel cared for when they come to my location? And that's what I put on it. And we train for that. So everything you do, everything you are, has to support that mission. And if not, then kind of like we're doing something wrong, or maybe you're not the right fit for us.
Right. I definitely want to work for you, because it seems like your attrition is probably low. But it's the standard.
Low, man, and we're getting better. Like, there's seasons, man. There's cycles and seasons where people come and go. Maybe they go off to college. They, go get the job in the real world, so to speak. But yeah, they genuinely love. I think they feel the love when they come into the location. So I appreciate it. I think we're doing a little something right.
Hey, I can hear it and see it. Like, it's one of the things, being in corporate America for so long, being in the customer service industries for 20-something years, we tried to study it. Maybe we studied a particular Chick-fil-A. And now that you've given me that information, we were studying one system, not the whole thing. So
that's right.
That opened my doors. We try to study Disney World as well, and just understanding. But what it just helped us understand is the impact. You said it best. Like, you poured into the team, then poured into the employee, into the customers. That makes all the sense in the world. I think that works with any type of relationship. You want to have something to pour into somebody. So you have a roadmap for life, bro. That's not even just Chick-fil-A. That's beautiful, man. I
never
love
thought about it like that, but you're good. That's a good point.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
actually,
think about how much.
How can you show up for your wife if you're empty?
Exactly. Imagine the world in that space every day. Like, I tell my friends, like I'm always going to give you your flowers every day. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for calling me. Thank you for checking in on me. Thank you for doing whatever. Man, thank you for being on this podcast. You know, you didn't have to, but thank you for everything. I'm giving you flowers, your grace, because tomorrow's not promised. You know, it's just as simple as that.
Not at all, man.
Man,
Not at all.
Great stuff. Man, I don't even know which way to go, but I can go in this direction because you are now managing, you said 80 plus people at one store, and you find time to be around your 2 kids and family and be a husband and all these things. But how do you balance this? How do you balance this thing called life?
Much better now than I did before, because I always say it like this, and I know people are like, man, what's he talking about? But I'm a cool guy. I'm a cool guy in the sense that I handle life in a cool way. I allow things to roll off my back. Typically, I get along with a lot of people. That's my superpower, is relationships. And the way people typically think about me is that he's a cool guy. I don't mean cool like, you know, throwing your shades and you're so cool. I don't mean like that. I mean like as in a cool, calm, and collected, right? And that's how I operate. But what's a challenge, Mark, is that coming into a new space, like owning a restaurant and I had 120 people when I first started. I hired 120 people, and we opened up January 2020. 2 months later, COVID hit. Obviously, sales weren't that great at that moment initially, but the costs were really high, and we weren't profitable right away. And I was trying to take care of people who were living in multi-generational families where mom, kids, and grandparents were all under one roof. And we know the older people were more susceptible to COVID and dying. And so we're trying to balance all of these things. These kids, they were students, but now they all of a sudden became the breadwinner and had to work 40 hours a week because their parents didn't want to leave the house and then come back home and then give their grandparents COVID. And so now the kids they have their laptops in the dining room, and they would go and log in and be on Zoom real quick and then come back and help try to take care of the guests. And I didn't think about it then, but it was just like, you know how we talk about the one foot in front of the other, man. That's all I was doing. But what I was also doing was I was absorbing everything that everyone else was going through. And I wasn't talking to anybody. I wasn't taking care of myself. I didn't have an outlet. I didn't do the things that would be good for me because I'm cool, right? I'm supposed to be cool. I'm supposed to be able to handle everything. Any bad news that's coming my way, I'm supposed to be like, oh, okay, we'll get through it. Yeah, I got you. But I'm one person. I'm still one person, no matter what. Right. And so 2 years into the business, man, started having a lot of neurological symptoms and things that made me feel like I was dying, having an aneurysm, having a stroke, having something was breaking down, something bad. And so again, because this is COVID, I can barely get these tests. Every test that I took was going to be every like 2 months apart. So I would do a test today. All right, we can schedule you 2 months later to get the next test. So it's taking me forever to figure out what it was and what it wasn't. And then we come to find out it was just anxiety, having a panic attack and having a little bit of a breakdown. And they would say, have you done any running lately? Because I used to run marathons and stuff. And I'm like, no. I said, I think you need to get back out and run. And that was like the sign and trigger that I haven't actually done anything physical. I had no physical release or outlet. I haven't talked to anybody. I haven't been in church like that. I haven't done anything except absorb. And so what to answer your question more succinctly is like, I had to fill up my cup before I could fill up my team's cup, before they could then fill up the guest's cup. I had to take my own prescription and let that mission of giving the team and the guest a better day apply to me too. Right. And so that's how I take care of myself better, by getting a massage once a month. I make sure I'm running, and I do the things where I can disconnect, and I talk to people, getting a therapist, and just even things like this, man, like being vulnerable and sharing like what's happened and what I worked through, what I've worked through, allows people to feel seen, allows me to take care of people. But I had to take care of myself before I could get to that point. And so that's how I do it now. You know, it's much different than it was in the beginning, where I was burning it at both ends of the candle and trying to be everything for everybody. Is setting some boundaries, taking care of myself, disconnecting from the restaurant, and then that gives me that fuel to be there for them.
Man, that's beautiful. And I think it may take things like that for some people to get on and catch on. Some people are lucky to figure that out, but You do have to have that. It's not necessarily a failure. It was just the point that your body will break you down. It will tell you,
man.
hey, this is not working. You got to figure something else if we want to thrive in this place. And
Right.
I try to preach that to a lot of people, because at the end of the day, you're maintaining your peace. You're maintaining your mental stability, your psychological stability. I mean, all of that makes sense, because if you're needed and you have a vision and you already have this vision and it's supposed to keep thriving, you're an important piece to that. You got to take care of yourself. And some people think it's selfish. Like, we've been raised and taught it's selfish to put yourself first. No, it's not. No, it's not. Put yourself first every day.
Man, I used to feel so guilty taking a nap. Exactly. I used to feel guilty taking a nap. Like, I shouldn't be doing this. I'm lazy. You know, I'm being lazy. It's like,
right.
Go to sleep. Rest.
Go to sleep.
No, you're okay.
You did the work to get there. Lay down. It's okay. It's gonna be there tomorrow.
Lay down, man.
Oh man. We're in our 40s now. We got to do that stuff. A nap is essential. At least 1 or 2 a week. I can get 2 naps a week. I had a great week. Great week.
That's crazy. We measure success in naps. The amount of naps.
Wow. Naps are success. That is a measure.
There you go. Yeah. That's why I'm gonna put it on a shirt. Just take the nap.
Take the nap. Don't sit there. But no, man. This is beautiful, man. You just drop a lot within that, just helping to understand so much. I mean, I'm afraid to even ask what T brought you. I mean, you went to A&T. A&T is a tremendous and incredible school. You're at homecoming. It's down the street. Trust me, I'm always wanting to go. I know people, but I know people, but I ain't go there, so it ain't the same. The crazy thing is, my brother went to Central, so when I go there, I know people and people feed me right. But I'm gonna get food either way. I'm gonna get food either way. Either way, I'm gonna eat good. I'm gonna have a good time. But tell me about A&T. Tell me about what it did for you and for your mindset and your future.
Yeah, A&T was amazing in the sense that one of the first things I noticed was that there was a lot of Black people, but not everybody had the same life experiences that I had. And coming from the Ville, I mean, we see Black people. I mean, just Black people. Okay, we're all Black. All right, great, whatever. Then I went to A&T and I saw people from DC. I said, y'all dress a little different. There's a little different accent. Okay. My New York, New Jersey guys, you know, the girls and the Midwest and the down South and the West Coast. And I'm like, wow. And then, of course, the international. So if you're from Africa or wherever in the world, it's like, it broadened my perspective of what the culture was really all about. And what, and I mean, like, that was so fascinating to me. I came to A&T with a goal to do something bigger and better every year. And so the first year, and I was really about my creative side. I was doing poetry in front of the school, and I would go to UNCG and do, things like that as well. My sophomore year, I became Mr. A&T. So I was, male representative of the university as a sophomore. And so that was that next step up where I got a chance to just see how I didn't have to blend in. I could continue to stand out and carve my own path, my own lane. And then my best friend got killed when he's from Fayetteville as well, when we were 20 years old. So he inspired me to, instead of having the Fayetteville Aggie Club or like the Metro Aggie Club for the DMV or the New York, New Jersey Aggie Club, I created the Fayetteville Aggies on the Move. So I wanted to create a social and a civic organization where we were making a difference while also having fun. I didn't want it to just be a club. And so we call it the FAM for short. So Fayetteville Aggies on the Move. And so in honor of my guy, Charles, who passed away, I started a bookstore scholarship. We did the first ever campus-wide cleanup where we got the gospel choir and the student government and the fraternities and sororities together to clean up the campus. And we had a DJ, because I used to be on the radio on the campus radio, and we had a DJ out there playing music, and we had a cookout afterwards. And then we did a lunch buddies program at a nearby church, and so it's like all these things. So that was my junior year, and then my senior year, I pledged Alpha, and then also Alpha Phi Omega. And so I was just like, what else is next? Like, how do I keep leveling up, and starting a business. I started a clothing line on campus, and so that was called Cool Classics. I was just doing so A&T. What it did was it created a foundation for me to fulfill everything I said I wanted to do, which was to do something bigger, better every year, whether it was in academics, whether it was in like extracurricular activities as far as like the pageants and the running for different student office.
Right.
It was no shortage of what I could do and what I could become at A&T. And of course, the culture, the deep history and traditions of being an Aggie pride all day. It just felt again like E.E. Smith,
Right.
a family, support, welcoming. You can be everything you can be, and we're going to be here to have your back. And I met some cool people like, Terrence J that has gone on to do some really great things. He and I worked together. He helped me get on a radio station. We've known, I just connected with him at homecoming,
Right.
known each other, 25 years now at this point. So yeah, it was great, man. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I mean, yeah, you can't tell that story. You can't tell the difference between somebody who went to E. Smith and A&T. It's just like,
right.
You can't tell the difference. It's like, where I went to school.
True.
You already know.
What it is.
It's so much pride in that, man. But man, it seems like you just had a playground. I think your mom's foundation of just doing that, your dad telling you to go out there and go get it. Then you're going to A&T and just like applying everything they taught you and just figured it out. Like you saying stuff, I'm like, man, radio, all things I used to think about, but it's probably mass amounts of people who are looking at you like you're a superstar. You're like, I'm just out here trying to live life and figure this thing out.
That's all I'm doing, man.
That's it.
Yeah.
But
raising my hand. Hey, can I do that? You got a spot for me over there? Can I try that? That's all I did. That's all I did.
Man, I'm looking at you now like all you got left is go ahead and be a senator, bro. You got a politician. I see it, bro. It's coming. You can mess around it.
First.
Exactly. You got to get a couple books, man. You're going to have a couple of them out here, but it's beautiful, man. Just like I said, positioning yourself, even though it was you trying and dabbling. Like I said, I feel like you probably your chess pieces, you're moving things around to gain experiences that actually bring a wealth of knowledge to not only you, but to your legacy. And you did it in a very respectful and cool way. You just been learning and getting it and learning. No better way to put that.
That's it. You summed it up perfectly. That's it.
I'm appreciative of your journey. I'm appreciative of everything you did there. And now, I mean, being a part of, I don't talk about this so much. I've had a lot of folks on here from Q Psi Phi, and now I have the second member of the Alpha Phi Alpha, fraternity on here.
Sir.
Tell me about how that has impacted you. And it's a, nationally known, nationally recognized organization. And you became a part of that.
Yep. Yeah. So the Beta Epsilon chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated at T, was really well known for producing renowned individuals who were like dedicated to excellence and that could straddle that line of being cool, but also being professional, right? Being able to, that duality of a person is something super attractive to me, because I describe my style as cool and classic. That's actually the name of my clothing line, is Cool Classic. And basically it's how do we be a part of the conversation, a part of what's popping, what's trendy, but also being so well rooted in our culture and our history and our traditions that, we don't lose what's classic about us. And so that's what I saw in the alphas and the people who were crossing at A&T. And so what it taught me was just brotherhood. It reminded me to continue to be myself, and that being myself was enough, and that I can make an impact in the world and still not lose sight of myself. So I could walk with kings and not lose the common touch. And so that's something that was really big for me, is to make sure that I could be that celebrity or be in the midst of celebrities and people who are really well known. And then I'm going to be the person that's going to see you on the street with your hand out looking for, a meal as maybe somebody who's unhoused, and I'm not going to overlook you. I'm not going to dismiss you. I'm going to see you just with as much humanity as the person who might be famous. And so just that balance is something that I think most fraternities and sororities are similar specifically just because I'm an alpha, I could only speak to that,
Mm-hmm.
is that we just don't lose sight of, we just don't lose sight of people, even in the midst of our aspirations.
Man, I've always wanted to be in a fraternity, but I didn't have time, so I made football. Football takes a lot of energy out of it. But if I were to be one, if I were to be in a fraternity, Alpha was my choice, and that's based on coming up from Fayetteville, only seeing Qs everywhere. Right, all my guys, most of the guys we know, they're Qs. Get to Virginia, man. Got to Richmond, and Alphas. It was the whole city was Alphas, and they
really?
all the steps. It was like they could dance better. They had the best parties. I was like, they cool. They always that. What's up, bro? What's going on? I was like, I want to be them. I want to be these guys right here. That made sense. Like when you said, we're cool, but we're also professional. I've been that. I've been that all my life. Do I want to be nasty in my own personal space? Yeah, but not in public. So I can't be.
Exactly.
No disrespect to anybody. Am I really a suave, cool? Like that type of guy. I couldn't be a Kappa. That's not me. I couldn't do that. And I was like alphas. I blew 5 maybe, but alphas they stood out to me. That stood out to me the most as far as when you look at that stuff, and I see a lot of people joining and HBCUs and getting involved. It's a brotherhood. It's a huge piece of HBCU pride. Me going to a PWI, we didn't have it. So I don't know anything about it. I have no idea what that looks like. All we knew is football. That was our brotherhood, which is till to this day. When you bleed and sweat with somebody, you recognize that is a fraternity, a lifetime fraternity. I think college made the best memories, the best support, made the best friendships, and I'm still in contact with these guys to this day. We're 40, some 50. Couldn't, they need me right now, so I can imagine what the extension of brotherhood that alphas provide with that line you had.
Yeah,
that's good.
And then even now, join the 100 Black Men of LA, of Los Angeles. So much similar type of organization where it's like, how do we collectively come together and be more than what we could be as individuals, and not lose sight of our individuality. How do we make this difference in this world? How do we go from just being successful to leaving a legacy?
Yeah, man, we got some. Man, when you write your book, I'm definitely gonna read it. But then there's so much stuff out here. This is the one kind of biggest piece of what I do at Career Transformation Academy. I'm teaching people how to get jobs, but I'm also teaching people about their mindset. That's important. And the folks that we're bringing on here, not only from Fayetteville, from around the world that I'm bringing, everybody's had a storm. Everybody started somewhere, and then you had to make a decision about who you wanted to be in life. You, my friend, man, you're doing it. You continue doing it. The story's not over. You're still painting it. You're still drawing it. You're still dreaming it. It just doesn't end with Chick-fil-A. This doesn't end where you are now, man. So I'm excited to keep watching, following, keeping along. I'm going to have to use you as a mentor for real, man, because there's so much stuff that you have and knowledge that you have. I would love to continue to pick your brain, man. Man.
Yeah. You already know. Count me in. Like, whatever I can. I promise you, man. Like if I was just all words, all talk, then I'd be like, hit me up later, whatever. But I really, truly want to be there. And however I can support you. And again, I appreciate you having me on the show and having this conversation, man. So like, however we can keep the conversation going and keeping the impact going, let me know.
Definitely. My last question to you, because I know we can ask. I'm sitting here thinking like we hit a lot of the questions I had on the list. So I'm like, I don't even have to ask that. We did that already. We did that. He did that. But my last question, I used to ask it in 2 different ways. I think you had a very good upbringing as far as your expertise in exploring and jumping into certain things. So I'm going to ask it to like this. Upcoming rising entrepreneurs, what advice, solid foundation, that's a new word. Foundation. What type of advice would you give to someone who is looking to find their way, thinking of entrepreneurship but just lost?
Okay, got you. Yeah, so they want to be an entrepreneur. I would ask why. Why? What's their why? You have to start with why, and because if you don't know why you want to do it, or if you do find out why you want to do it, and the answer is only because somebody else did it, or I saw somebody else making money being a truck driver, or I saw somebody else starting this type of business, and maybe I could do eyelashes too, or maybe I can, you just have to put your dream to the test. There's a book by John C. Maxwell that was called "Put Your Dream to the Test." Is this dream really for you? Is this your dream, or are you watching somebody else having success and you're trying to use some of their puzzle pieces to fit in your puzzle, and it's just two different pictures, and two different journeys, two different paths. So really make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons, and then if it's only for money, as an example, then you're going to get potentially burnt out, and especially if you don't see the money soon enough. Like you'll start something and you'll use all that energy that you're all the excitement, and you'll use it towards something that you're only passionate about because of the money. So I would make sure that, one, you're doing it for the right reasons, that this dream is really for you. Two, that it's not just about the money. Your money is definitely, of course, I want to make money with Chick-fil-A. I want to make a lot of money, right? Like I want to make $1 million a year. Like, but my point is, I also have to like, and I love and appreciate other aspects of the business, or else it's going to feel like torture. Yeah. And that's not something that you want to do in your, in your life. And then the third thing I would say is, every good business has to be solving a problem. So if you're starting a business, make sure that it's really a strong enough problem that needs to be solved. And two, that it's not already being solved so well by somebody else that you can't compete. Right. So Chick-fil-A, we're in the business of solving hunger, but we're also in the business of giving a great experience. So there's other people that sell chicken sandwiches, but we're going to do it in a way that's going to be fresher. And we're going to do it in a way that makes you feel good about spending your money with us, right? Opposed to it being transactional. We want to build that relationship. There's people who keep coming out with new remote controls or TVs or cars and things like, they're solving the problem of transportation, but maybe they're trying to do it in a way that's cheaper, more economical, or not economical, but more environmentally friendly or whatever. But in order for you to sustain, and that's why businesses go out of business, is because they try to solve a problem and they thought they could solve it better, but it was only like incrementally better. And that's why they just like, customers are not, like, you're not doing anything that great for me to switch from what I'm already doing to start using your product or your business or whatever. So what is your solution? And is there somebody else that's already solving that problem better than you? Then I probably wouldn't worry about it. I probably would pivot to something else. So make sure your dream is really your dream. I would also say, making sure that what you're going after isn't just for money. And then 3, making sure that it's really solving a problem that is big enough and that maybe only that you can really solve.
Would you consider all of that also defining your purpose, or is that another strategy?
Yeah, purpose that's a bigger one. And I think trying new things is part of finding out your purpose. Because as you try things, you'll start realizing what fits you, what doesn't, what you like, what you don't like, and what seems to connect with you that's deeper than just your head. Like you're like the mental, oh, I like it. No, it's like, I need it. There's something about it that feels like I'm connected in a way that's really bigger than getting paid for it, bigger than anything other than, like, it just feels like it's connected to my soul, like it's in my heart, like it feels like I don't know why I'm drawn to this thing. And so, but try new things, expose yourself to new people, ask questions, be a great listener, and I think that will start helping you to discover and uncover who you are, and then what you're here for. And that may change. Like once you fulfill a purpose, you might have a series of purpose, in your life. As a purpose as a dad will change and evolve when our kids go off to college or when they get married, right? Our purpose and our role will change, but your lifelong purpose of maybe giving back and making a difference and transforming people, and you know what I mean? Like that,
right?
That also includes your kids. That also includes the person who signs up for your academy. That also includes the universities who say, we need that career transformation academy at our school, so HBCUs, if y'all listening, you need to have Mark as part of your company and your organization. So he's going to make a big difference. And so, yeah. What he said. So yeah, that's my purpose. My purpose is really about, I feel like it's helping people be themselves, is encouraging people to be who they are. And so I have a children's book that'll be coming out soon. That's all about that. And even in
You're
my
the
business,
illustrator.
my
I got
LLC.
one.
Already illustrated, man. But next time,
Oh.
definitely for sure. We're almost there. We're almost at the finish line for this book. So everything is just it's about printing at this point.
Mhm.
So, but really, my LLC for my restaurant is called Feed the Dream. It's all about trying to feed the dream that people have locked inside of them. And so it's that's just that to me is my life purpose, is being yourself and encouraging other people to be who they were meant to be.
Man, this is an amazing, beautiful podcast that we put together here. You dropped a lot of nuggets. You dropped some bars. I'm gonna offer you one suggestion. I'm pretty sure you heard this already, but go ahead and sell some chicken on Sunday with the bone in it. You're gonna have a $20 million business. I'm telling you, in 6 months.
Okay, come in the back door because I ain't trying to get
Come in the back door. That's it.
That is one way to. Yeah,
you gotta have a pop-up shop for Chick-fil-A bone-in chicken, and you're gonna have $1 million side hustle. I'm telling you.
The side hustle, yeah, man. That'll be the worst. I lose my store in a heartbeat.
Yeah, but you'll be $20 million
So just
rich.
so everybody's watching, I will not be open. In jail. Looking crazy.
Oh man, I already know the herbs and spices. I've already made it at home. I know how to make it at home. But anyway.
That's true.
But it's pretty good though. It's pretty good. But no, man, I appreciate you being on here.
Yes,
Man, tell the folks how they can get in contact with you if they want to hit you up on LinkedIn or Instagram or even email you. How can they get in contact with you to pick your brain?
Yeah, man, I would love to. So everything is Craig Stokes. So Instagram, Craig Stokes, Facebook, Instagram. Facebook is Craig Stokes. I want to say LinkedIn is like S Craig Stokes for my first name, Stephen. But so S Craig Stokes, but either way, Craig Stokes everywhere. And then email Craig@CraigStokes.com. Easy, straightforward.
Good, man. I appreciate you for being on here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and close out. So, folks, if you want more content like this, if you want to see these things, more podcasts, we are on all social media platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok at Career Transformation Academy. But TikTok is actually The Blueprint by CTA. We're dropping lots of nuggets, science. I'm giving you the surface. I'm giving you the world. I'm telling you about the career process and how to get you a job. But if you're really serious about taking it to the next level, definitely go to my website at www.careertransformationacademy.com. We are here to help you with a free consultation, and we can help you discover what it is for your future, where you want to go, help you get there, and make you get to the bag. Whatever it is you're trying to do, we're helping folks get that and making their dreams come true. So, Greg, man, amazing. I appreciate you, my brother. We had a little bit of technical up and down, but we'll get through it. It's going to be all right. But I appreciate you for coming on here.
Absolutely.
This is awesome, man. We got to do this again. I'm definitely going to pick your brain on some other stuff.
Brother.
But man, love you, man.
Yeah, my pleasure, Mark. Hey, shout out to you.
This was good.
Love you too, brother.
This is good, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody. We're out. Peace.
Official.